Princess Alara stood by the large window in her royal chambers. Her blue skin shimmered in the light of the 3 moons that hung in the night sky of her home planet, Lumina. She watched the stars with sad eyes. Somewhere out there was Earth, home of the humans, home of the man she would soon be forced to marry. "Your Highness, may I come in?" A soft voice called from outside her door. "Yes, Lyra," Alara replied. Her loyal assistant entered the room carrying a silver tray with a cup of steaming blue liquid. Lyra had served the princess since they were both children. Now, she was the only one Alara could truly trust with her fears. "I brought your evening tea," Lyra said, placing the tray on a small table. "You seem troubled." Alara turned from the window. Her long silver hair floated gently around her face as if underwater. This was normal for the luminary people. Their bodies had special powers that humans did not have. But these powers had not saved them from the human armies. "The council meeting ended an hour ago," Alara said. She picked up the tea and sipped it slowly. "The details of my marriage to the human commander are final. I leave for Earth in 2 days." Lyra's 6-fingered hands trembled slightly. "Is it really him? Commander Alan West?" Alara nodded. "Yes, the one they call the Wolf of the Stars. The man who destroyed 3 of our battleships at the Battle of Orion's Belt." Stories about Commander Alan West traveled across the galaxy. The humans called him a hero. The Luminari called him a monster. He had fought in every major battle between humans and aliens over the past 10 years. He never lost. His enemies never survived to tell what he was really like. "But why you?" Lyra asked. "Why must the princess marry this human? Can't your father send someone else?" Alara shook her head. "The war has gone on too long. Both sides are tired of fighting. The humans suggested this marriage to bring peace. My father agreed." She put down her cup. "The human leaders want someone important from our side. They chose me." "It's not fair," Lyra whispered. "Few things are fair during war," Alara replied. She walked to her desk and picked up a small device. When she pressed a button, a life-sized image of a man appeared in the center of the room. Commander Alan West looked tall for a human. He had short brown hair and a strong face with a straight nose and firm jaw. In the image, he wore a dark uniform with many medals. His eyes were a cold blue. He did not smile. "This is all we have on him," Alara said. "This picture and the stories of his battles." Lyra looked at the image with wide eyes. "He looks hard." "He is a warrior," Alara said. "Humans value warriors above all else. That's why they picked him for this marriage." She turned off the image and sat down on her bed. The soft cloud-like material adjusted to her body. "The worst part is not knowing what to expect. Will he be cruel? Will he treat me like an equal? Or will I be just a trophy from a defeated enemy?" "Perhaps he will surprise you," Lyra suggested. Alara gave a small laugh without joy. "The only surprises from humans have been new ways to fight. They are clever but dangerous. My father says they feel emotions too strongly. Love, hate, fear, happiness. They experience everything with great force. It makes them unpredictable." "You are afraid," Lyra said. It wasn't a question. "Yes," Alara admitted. "I am a princess. I always knew I might marry for political reasons, but I thought it would be to someone from another luminary house, or perhaps a friendly alien species like the Ventari. Not a human. Not a warrior with blood on his hands." Alara stood up and returned to the window. "Do you know what frightens me most? That I might grow to care for him. That I might forget what his people did to ours." A soft bell rang through the palace, signaling the late evening hour. Lyra bowed slightly. "You should rest, Your Highness. The next few days will be difficult." "Yes," Alara agreed, though she doubted she would sleep well. "Thank you, Lyra." After Lyra left, Alara prepared for bed. She removed her royal dress and put on a simple sleeping gown made of soft silver material. As she did every night, she touched the small crystal hanging from a chain around her neck. It had belonged to her mother, who died when Elara was just a child. "Give me strength," she whispered to the crystal. Morning came too quickly. Elara woke to the sounds of activity in the palace halls. Today she would begin preparing for her journey to Earth. She had never left her home planet before. Her father, Emperor Zoran, requested her presence at breakfast. She dressed in a simple blue gown and went to the royal dining room where he waited. Emperor Zoran looked tired. The war had aged him greatly over the past years. His once bright blue skin had faded to a pale color, and his silver hair had lost some of its float. "Daughter," he greeted her. "Did you sleep well?" "As well as can be expected," she replied, taking her seat across from him. Servants brought plates of fruit and bread. Neither Elara nor her father seemed very hungry. "I know this is difficult. For you," the emperor said after a long silence. "If there was any other way to end this war—" "I understand my duty," Elara said. "I will not disappoint you." Emperor Zoran reached across the table and took her hand. "This is not just about duty. I worry for your happiness." "Happiness is a luxury during wartime," Elara said, repeating words she had heard her father say many times. "The reports about Commander West are concerning," the emperor continued. "He is known for being ruthless in battle, but our spies say he is respected among his own people. That may mean he has honor. Or it may mean he is good at killing," Elara said. The emperor sighed. "You must try to make this work, daughter. The future of our people depends on it. If this marriage fails, the war will begin again. I fear we will not survive another round of fighting. I will do my best," Elara promised. "For our people." After breakfast, Elara returned to her rooms to find many servants packing her belongings. She would be allowed to bring personal items to Earth, but not too many. She must adapt to human ways now. Lyra approached her with a small box. "Your crown, Your Highness, shall I pack it?" Elara looked at the delicate silver crown with its blue gems. "Yes. I may need to remind the humans exactly who I am." As she watched her life being packed into boxes, Elara tried to prepare herself mentally for what was coming. In just a few days, she would meet Commander Alan West, the man who had killed many of her people, the man they called ruthless and dangerous, the man who would be her husband. The royal ship moved through space toward Earth. Princess Elara sat in her private room looking out at the stars passing by. She had been traveling for 5 days now. Tomorrow, they would reach Earth. Tomorrow, she would meet Commander Alan West. "Your Highness?" Lyra entered the room carrying a datapad. "The captain says we will arrive at Earth Space Station in 12 hours. Elara nodded. Her stomach felt tight with worry. "Have the humans sent any new messages?" "Yes," Lyra said. "They have planned a welcome ceremony. Many important Earth leaders will be there, and Commander West, of course." "Of course," Elara repeated softly. She stood up and walked to the small table where a box sat. Inside was her mother's crystal necklace. She put it on, feeling some comfort from its familiar weight. "The Earth leaders also sent information about human marriage customs," Lyra continued. "They want to respect our ways, but hope we will include some of their traditions too." "What kind of customs?" Elara asked. "Simple things, special clothes, rings, promises spoken out loud." Lyra handed the datapad to Elara. "Nothing too strange? They seem eager to make you comfortable." Elara looked through the information. Human weddings seemed focused on love and promises. It felt odd to think of such things when marrying a stranger who was once an enemy. "Did they send any new information about Commander West?" Elara asked. Lyra shook her head. "Only what we already know. His military record, his awards, his position in their fleet. Nothing personal," Elara said with disappointment. "Nothing about who he really is." That night, Elara could not sleep. She kept thinking about the pictures she had seen of Earth. It looked so different from Lumina. Earth had blue skies and green plants. Lumina's sky was purple, and its plants were silver and blue. Would she ever feel at home there? When morning came, Alara dressed in her finest royal clothes. Her dress was made of a special fabric that shimmered between blue and silver. She wore her crown and her mother's crystal. She needed to look strong when meeting the humans. The captain says, "We are approaching Earth Space Station," Lyra announced. "We should go to the main deck." Alara took a deep breath. "I am ready." The main deck of the royal ship had a large window showing the view ahead. Earth Space Station was huge, much bigger than Alara had expected. Many ships moved around it. Some were small and fast. Others were large cargo ships bringing supplies. "It's impressive," Lyra admitted. "Yes," Alara agreed. "The humans have built well." A voice came through the ship's communication system. "Royal Ship of Lumina, this is Earth Space Station Alpha. Welcome to Earth Space. Please follow our guide ships to Docking Bay 12. Two small Earth ships appeared in front of them. The royal pilot followed them toward the station. Alara watched as they got closer and closer to her new home. "Your Highness, Captain Morrow," the leader of her royal guards, approached her. "We will protect you at all times. 10 guards will always be with you. If you feel unsafe at any moment, just say the word." "Thank you, Captain," Alara said. "But remember, we are here for peace. We must show trust." "Trust, yes," the captain said. "But careful trust." The ship docked smoothly at the station. Alara stood tall as the door prepared to open. This was the moment. Her first step into human territory. Her first step toward her new life. The door opened slowly. A group of humans stood waiting. They wore different uniforms and formal clothes. Some had many medals and decorations. These must be the important leaders Lyra mentioned. Alara stepped forward, followed by Captain Morrow and her guards. The humans watched her with curious eyes. Most had never seen a Luminari before, except maybe in pictures or videos. An older human with gray hair stepped forward. "Princess Alara of Lumina, welcome to Earth Space Station Alpha. I am President Clark of the Earth Alliance." Alara bowed, her head slightly. "Thank you, President Clark. I bring greetings from my father, Emperor Zoran. We are honored by your presence," the president said. "Your journey here marks a new chapter in the relationship between our peoples." Alara looked at the group of humans, searching for the one she was meant to marry. Which one was Commander West? None of them matched the picture she had seen. As if reading her thoughts, President Clark turned and gestured to someone standing behind the group. "I believe there is someone you are waiting to meet." The group of humans parted, making way for a man to walk through. He wore a dark blue uniform with silver buttons. He had short brown hair and was clean-shaven. He was tall for a human, but not as tall as the Luminari guards. His shoulders were broad, and he stood very straight. This was Commander Alan West, the Wolf of the Stars, the man who had destroyed 3 Luminari battleships, the man who would be her husband. But something was wrong. This man didn't match the image she had studied. Yes, he had the same hair color and similar features. But his eyes weren't cold blue as in the picture. They were warm brown. And unlike the stern face in the image, this man had small lines near his eyes that suggested he smiled often. Commander West walked forward and stopped a respectful distance from Alara. He bowed deeply. "Princess Alara, I am Commander Alan West. Welcome to Earth Space." His voice was deep but gentle, nothing like the harsh voice she had imagined. "Commander West," she replied, trying to hide her confusion. "I am pleased to meet you." The commander smiled. It was a kind smile that reached his eyes. "The pleasure is mine, Your Highness. I hope your journey was comfortable." "Yes, thank you," she said automatically. Her mind was racing with questions. Why was he so different from what she expected? Was this some kind of trick? "We have prepared quarters for you and your people," Commander West continued. "When you've had time to rest, perhaps we could talk. There is much I would like to learn about you and your world." Alara nodded, still watching him carefully. Yes, that would be acceptable. As they walked through the station, Alara noticed how the other humans treated Commander West. They respected him, that was clear, but they didn't seem afraid of him. Some even smiled warmly when they saw him. One young human officer even joked with him briefly as they passed. This was not how people acted around someone cruel or ruthless. This was how they acted around someone they liked and trusted. Later, in her new quarters on the station, Alara sat with Lyra. "He's not what I expected," she admitted. "No," Lyra agreed. "He seems kind." "But why?" Alara asked. "Why would they send false information about him? Why make us think he was cold and dangerous?" "Perhaps they didn't send false information," Lyra suggested. "Perhaps we just misunderstood. Or perhaps there is more to Commander West than what we can see." Alara touched her mother's crystal, thinking deeply. Tomorrow she would speak with Commander West alone. Tomorrow she would start to learn who this man really was. And perhaps she would discover why the ruthless warrior she had feared seemed, at first meeting, nothing like a man to be afraid of. The next morning, Princess Alara prepared to meet Commander West alone. They would have breakfast together in a special meeting room on the space station. Lyra helped her dress in a simple but elegant blue gown. "Remember," Lyra said, as she arranged Alara's floating silver hair, "you don't have to trust him right away. Watch and listen carefully." "I will," Alara promised. She touched her mother's crystal for strength. Captain Morrow and 4 guards escorted her to the meeting room. 2 guards stayed outside the door and 2 went inside with her. The room was pleasant, with a round table in the center and large windows showing the curve of Earth below. Commander West was already there, looking out at the view of his home planet. He turned when she entered and smiled. "Good morning, Princess. I hope you slept well." "Well enough, thank you," she replied. She noticed he wore a simpler uniform today with fewer medals. It made him look less like a commander and more like an ordinary man. "Please sit," he said, gesturing to the table where breakfast waited. There were foods from both Earth and Lumina. "I asked your staff what you might like to eat. I hope I chose well." Alara sat down, surprised by his thoughtfulness. Her guards took positions by the door, watching the human carefully. "You have questions," Commander West said as he sat across from her. "I can see it in your expression. Please, ask anything you wish." Alara studied him for a moment. "The information we received about you, it doesn't match what I see." "In what way?" he asked, seeming genuinely curious. "We were told you were ruthless, cold, dangerous." She paused. "Even your appearance is different. The image we had showed you with blue eyes, not brown." Commander West looked surprised, then understanding crossed his face. "Ah, I believe you may have seen a picture of my older brother, Jack West. He also serves in Earth's fleet. We look similar, but he has blue eyes." "Your brother?" Alara was confused. "But the information said you destroyed 3 luminary ships at the Battle of Orion's Belt." Commander West's face grew serious. "Princess, I've never been in direct combat with your people. I was stationed on the other side of the galaxy during that battle. My role has been in diplomacy and peace negotiations for the past 5 years." Alara felt her world shift beneath her. "Then why were you chosen for this marriage alliance?" "We were told they wanted their greatest warrior." "Is that what your leaders told you?" He looked troubled. "Our leaders said they wanted someone with experience in cross-species relations, someone who could help build understanding between our peoples." He paused. "Princess, I think there has been a serious misunderstanding." They sat in silence for a moment. Alara's mind raced. Had her father lied to her? Or had he been given false information too? "Tell me about yourself," she said finally. "The real you, not what I was told." Commander West smiled again. "My name is Alan West. I'm 32 years old. I was born on Earth in a place called Colorado, where the mountains reach toward the sky. I joined Earth's fleet 15 years ago because I wanted to explore the stars and meet other intelligent species." He poured her a cup of tea before continuing. I've spent most of my career working as a cultural liaison. I study other species' customs and help prevent misunderstandings. When war broke out with your people, I argued against it. I believed we could find peaceful solutions. Yet you agreed to this marriage, Ilara noted. Yes, he admitted. Because I believe it can bring real peace. Not just a pause in fighting, but true understanding between humans and Luminari. He looked at her directly. But I never thought they would force you into this without telling you the truth about me. Ilara sipped her tea, thinking carefully about his words. How do I know you're telling the truth now? A fair question, he acknowledged. You could speak to my commanding officers, or review my actual service record. I have nothing to hide. For the first time, Ilara noticed a small scar near his right eye. It was almost hidden, but the light from the window revealed it. How did you get that scar? She asked suddenly. Commander West touched it lightly. This? It's rather embarrassing. 5 years ago, I was studying Ventari cooking to better understand their culture. Their knives are very sharp, and well, I'm not very good at cooking. He smiled self-consciously. Not a very heroic story. Despite herself, Ilara felt a small smile form on her lips. You studied cooking to understand an alien culture? Food brings people together, he said simply. It's one of the universal constants I've found. Every intelligent species has meals, and many have special traditions around eating together. Ilara thought about this. It made sense in a way she hadn't considered before. Is that why you arranged for Luminari food today? Yes, he said. I hoped it might make you feel more at home, and I've been eager to try it myself, may I? He gestured to a blue fruit that was a Luminari breakfast staple. Please do, she said, watching as he carefully cut a piece and tasted it. His eyes widened. It's like sweet water with a hint of what we call cinnamon. Fascinating. His genuine interest in her food was surprising. As they continued breakfast, Commander West asked thoughtful questions about Lumina and her people. Unlike the interrogation she had expected, his questions showed real curiosity about Luminari art, music, and daily life. He seemed especially interested in how her people's floating hair worked. It's related to our natural connection to energy fields, she explained. All Luminari can sense and sometimes control certain types of energy around us. That's remarkable, he said. Humans have no such abilities. Perhaps that's why we develop technology so quickly, to make up for what we lack naturally. As their meal ended, Commander West grew more serious. Princess Ilara, I understand this situation is not what you expected. If you wish to cancel the marriage agreement, I would support your decision. Ilara was stunned. You would? Of course, he said. A marriage should be entered willingly, with full knowledge. You were misled about who I am. That's not a good foundation for any relationship, especially one as important as this. For the first time since leaving Lumina, Ilara felt she had a real choice. The man sitting across from her was offering her freedom, and strangely, that made her want to learn more about him. I would like to see Earth, she said finally. And I would like to know more about you, Commander West. Before I make any decisions. He smiled, and the warmth in his eyes reminded her nothing of the cold warrior she had feared. I would be honored to show you my world, Princess, and please call me Alan. As Ilara left the meeting room with her guards, she realized something important had changed. The fear that had filled her since learning of the marriage was fading. In its place was something new, curiosity about this human who studied alien cooking and offered her a choice when he could have demanded obedience. Perhaps, she thought, touching her mother's crystal, there was more to humans than she had been taught, and perhaps this arranged marriage might lead to something unexpected. The next day, Commander Alan West took Princess Ilara to visit Earth. A small ship carried them down to the planet's surface. Captain Morrow and 4 guards came with them. Alan had arranged for them to visit a place called New Washington, the capital city of the Earth Alliance. As the ship entered Earth's atmosphere, Ilara watched through the window. Blue oceans and green land appeared below them. White clouds floated in the sky. It looked very different from the purple skies and silver landscapes of Lumina. It's beautiful, she said softly. Alan smiled. I hope you'll find much to appreciate here. Each region of Earth has its own special features. Mountains, deserts, forests, and oceans. This is just one small part. Their ship landed on a platform near a tall building. When they stepped outside, Elara felt Earth's gravity for the first time. It was stronger than Lumina's. She had been warned about this and had practiced in adjusted gravity chambers, but it still felt strange. Are you all right? Alan asked with concern. Yes, she replied. Just adjusting to the gravity. The air felt different too. It was cooler and had unfamiliar smells. Some were pleasant, like the scent of nearby trees and flowers. Others were less so, like the faint smell of machinery and fuel. A group of human officials greeted them. Most stared at Elara with curiosity. Her blue skin and floating silver hair were unlike anything they had seen before. Some of the younger humans whispered to each other and pointed at her. Elara stood tall, remembering she was a princess. Alan noticed her discomfort. I apologize for the stares, he said quietly. Most of these people have never met a Luminari before. They don't mean to be rude. It's all right, she said. I would probably stare too if I visited a new world. Alan led her into the building, which he explained was a museum of Earth's history. I thought this might be a good place to start. To understand humans, it helps to know our past. The museum was large and filled with objects from Earth's history. Alan showed her examples of early human tools, art, and technology. Elara was surprised by how quickly humans had advanced. Your people went from simple tools to space travel in a very short time, she observed. Yes, Alan agreed. Humans have always been driven to explore and create new things, sometimes too quickly, without thinking of the consequences. Is that why you went to war with my people? She asked directly. Alan's face grew serious. That's a complicated question. The official reason was a dispute over mining rights in the Centauri system, but I think the real reason was fear. Fear? Elara was surprised. Yes. Humans fear what they don't understand. Your people have abilities we don't have. Some of our leaders saw that as a threat. Alan shook his head. It was a mistake. One, I hope we can now correct. As they walked through the museum, Elara noticed how Alan greeted every museum worker by name. He asked about their families and seemed genuinely interested in their answers. This was not how she expected a high-ranking commander to act. Later, they visited a garden with plants from all over Earth. Elara enjoyed the colors and scents of the flowers. Some reminded her of plants on Lumina, though the colors were different. You seem to know a lot about plants, Alan observed as she examined a red flower. On Lumina, I studied biology, she explained. It was one of my interests before. She didn't finish the sentence. Before you had to prepare for this arranged marriage, Alan completed for her. What else did you study? Art, music, history, diplomacy, she listed. All the things a princess should know. And what did you want to study? He asked. The question surprised her. No one had asked that before. I always wanted to learn more about the stars, the different planets and the species that live on them. Alan's face brightened. An astronomer. I studied astronomy too before joining Earth's fleet. The stars are what called me to space in the first place. For the first time, Elara felt a real connection with the human commander. They shared a love of the stars. As they walked through the garden, they talked about different star systems they had both studied. The conversation was interrupted when a small human child ran up to them. The girl had long dark hair and big brown eyes. She stared at Elara with open wonder. Are you a space fairy? The child asked. Elara didn't understand what a fairy was, but she smiled at the little girl. No, I'm a Luminari. My name is Elara. Your hair is pretty, the girl said. It floats. Before Elara could respond, the child's mother rushed over. Emma, come back here, I'm so sorry, she said to Alan and Elara. She got away from me. It's quite all right, Alan assured her. No harm done. The woman looked nervous as she pulled her daughter away. Elara could see fear in her eyes. Fear of the alien princess. Not everyone is ready to accept our new alliance, Alan said quietly after they left. There will be challenges ahead. It's the same among my people, Ilara admitted. Many Luminari don't trust humans. They walked in silence for a moment. Then Alan spoke again. I've been thinking about what you said earlier. About the misinformation you were given about me. Yes? Ilara looked at him curiously. I've requested the official files from both sides about the marriage arrangement. I want to understand how this confusion happened. His brown eyes were serious. Princess, I promise you this. I will always be honest with you, no matter what. The way he said, it made Ilara believe him. Something about this human was different from what she had expected. He seemed to truly care about truth and understanding. As the day ended and they prepared to return to the space station, Ilara found herself torn. Part of her was still cautious, remembering her father's warnings about humans and their strong emotions. But another part was becoming curious about Alan West and his world. Later, in her quarters on the space station, she spoke with Lyra about the day's events. He seems kind, Lyra observed. And he offered to let you cancel the marriage. A truly ruthless man would never do that. I know, Ilara said. But why would my father tell me he was dangerous? Why make me fear him? Perhaps your father believed it himself, Lyra suggested. Or perhaps he thought fear would make you more careful. Ilara touched her mother's crystal, thinking deeply. Tomorrow, Alan said he would have answers about the files. I need to know the truth before I decide anything about this marriage. As she prepared for sleep, Ilara looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Lumina, her home. And here was Earth, so different and yet in some ways familiar. She thought about the little girl in the garden asking if she was a fairy. There was no fear in the child's eyes, only wonder. Perhaps, Ilara thought, humans and Luminari were not as different as she had been taught. And perhaps Commander Alan West was exactly the right human to help her discover that truth. The next morning, Princess Ilara received an urgent message from Alan. He had found something important in the official files and needed to speak with her right away. Ilara dressed quickly and asked Captain Morrow to take her to the meeting room. When she arrived, Alan was already there. His face looked serious. Several datapads were spread out on the table in front of him. Princess, he said as she entered. Thank you for coming so quickly. You found something, she said. It wasn't a question. Yes. Alan picked up one of the datapads. I've spent all night comparing the official marriage arrangement files from both sides. What I discovered is troubling. Ilara sat down across from him. Tell me. The files don't match, he explained. The document sent to your father clearly states that Commander Jack West, hero of the Battle of Orion's Belt, would marry the Princess of Lumina. But the document our leaders signed names me, Alan West, as the groom. Someone changed the files, Ilara said, her mind racing. Yes, and there's more. Alan showed her another datapad. This is a message from Admiral Perry, my superior. In it, he explains that the human military agreed to the marriage because I understand alien cultures. He specifically says they want peace, not just a pause in fighting. Ilara frowned. But my father told me the humans wanted their greatest warrior to marry me as a show of dominance, which is exactly what this document told him. Alan handed her a third datapad. Ilara read it carefully. The document was written in both human and Luminari language. It clearly stated that the marriage was a symbol of human victory, and that Commander West, the most feared human warrior, would take the Luminari princess as his prize. This is not what our leaders agreed to, Alan said firmly. Someone deliberately created false documents to make both sides suspicious of each other. But who would do such a thing? Ilara asked. And why? Before Alan could answer, the door opened. Captain Morrow rushed in, his face showing rare alarm. Your Highness, a Luminari battlecruiser has just entered Earth space without permission. It's your father's ship. My father? Ilara stood up in shock. That's impossible. He's supposed to be on Lumina. Alan's communication device beeped. He answered it and listened for a moment, his face growing pale. Earth's defense fleet has gone to high alert. If your father's ship doesn't explain their presence immediately, they could fire on them. We need to stop this, Ilara said urgently. There must be a mistake. They rushed to the command center of the space station. The large screens showed a Luminari royal ship approaching. Earth ships moved to intercept it. We must contact my father, Ilara told the Earth commander in charge. The commander looked uncertain but nodded to a communication officer. Within moments, Emperor Zoran's face appeared on the main screen. He looked angry and worried. Father, Ilara stepped forward. What are you doing here? Ilara, thank the stars you're alive. Relief washed over the Emperor's face. We received a message saying you were being mistreated by the humans, that they had broken our agreement. What? Ilara was confused. That's not true. I'm fine. Alan stepped forward. Emperor Zoran, I'm Commander Alan West. I believe someone has been sending false information to both our governments. The Emperor's eyes narrowed. You are not Commander West. Commander West has blue eyes and is known throughout the galaxy as the Wolf of the Stars. That's my brother Jack, Alan explained patiently. I'm Alan West, a diplomatic officer. There has been a deliberate misunderstanding created between our peoples. Ilara moved closer to Alan. Father, he's telling the truth. We've discovered documents that were changed to make both sides distrust each other. The Emperor looked stunned. But who would do such a thing? A new voice spoke from the doorway of the command center. I think I can answer that. Everyone turned to see a human man enter. He looked similar to Alan but had cold blue eyes. He wore a uniform with many medals. Jack, Alan said, recognizing his brother. What are you doing here? Commander Jack West walked into the room slowly. Cleaning up a mess, little brother. A mess created by those who don't understand what's necessary. You? Alan looked shocked. You changed the documents? Jack's face showed no remorse. Peace with the Luminari is a mistake. They are too powerful, too different from us. The only way humans can be safe is to keep them weak and afraid. So you tried to sabotage the marriage alliance? Ilara said, understanding now. You made my people think I was marrying a ruthless warrior to frighten them, and you made the humans think their diplomat was marrying an alien princess as a symbol of victory. And when that didn't work, Jack continued, I sent messages to both sides claiming the agreement had been broken. He looked at his brother with contempt. You were always too soft, Alan, too willing to trust aliens. This is treason, the Earth commander said, signaling to security officers who moved to arrest Jack. Jack didn't resist as they took him away. You'll see I'm right, he called back. Some enemies can't become friends. After he was gone, Alan turned to Emperor Zoran on the screen. Your Majesty, on behalf of Earth, I apologize for this deception. Commander Jack West acted alone against the wishes of our government. The Emperor studied Alan carefully. And what do you wish, Commander Alan West? Do you still want peace between our peoples? More than ever, Alan replied honestly. And I would still be honored to marry your daughter, but only if she wishes it too. All eyes turned to Ilara. She looked at Alan, the human who had shown her nothing but kindness and respect. The man who had worked to uncover the truth even when it implicated his own brother. Father, she said, her voice clear and strong. I was afraid of marrying a human. I feared Commander West would be cruel and cold, but I have learned that Alan West is a man of honor and wisdom. She took a deep breath. I believe this marriage can bring true peace between our peoples, and I agree to it freely. The tension in the room eased. Emperor Zoran nodded slowly. Then let us meet properly, Commander West. There is much to discuss. Later, when the immediate crisis had passed, Ilara and Alan stood alone by a window looking out at the stars. Your brother will be punished, Ilara said softly. Yes, Alan agreed. But perhaps his actions have taught us something important. Peace requires constant work and vigilance. There will always be those who prefer conflict and fear, Alara touched her mother's crystal. On Lumina we have a saying, truth is found in facing what we fear. I feared you, Alan West. But in meeting you face to face, I found the truth. Alan smiled and carefully took her hand in his. And what truth is that, Princess Alara? That sometimes, she said, her silver hair floating gently around her face. What we fear most is exactly what we need. Our peoples are different, yes, but perhaps those differences can make us stronger together. As Earth and Lumina ships floated peacefully side by side in space, the princess who had feared marrying a ruthless human found herself looking forward to a future she had never imagined. A future with a kind, thoughtful man who had shown her that sometimes you had to meet someone face to face to discover who they truly were.